Greetings, everybody. Welcome to G4G on YouTube. I'm your host, Napalm Dawn, and we're here to talk about World of Warcraft and Blizzard again. So it's been a while since I've been covering the particular shenanigans that have been going on with Blizzard and World of Warcraft, but it is definitely time to talk about them a little more, as a few things have transpired that we need to go over. So the intro that you guys have been seeing lately has been made by Orichalcum, and this little VTuber down here in the lower right is a VTube model that she's been experimenting with, and I have the current final version of it. I'm going to be testing it out with this video over here, and if I like how it goes, I may use another model or use this and actually put it into the videos properly with OBS rather than, you know, doing it through the little window down there and the NVIDIA GeForce app. So, moving on. We've got two things that we are going to go through today, and that is this IGN article from back on the 20th, and then new evidence that has been surfacing on what Blizzard's currently doing this week. That is just another complete PR travesty. I mean, it's just absolutely awful what they're doing, if it actually winds up being true. Alright, so this article here from back on the 20th is basically saying how a lot of content creators are just picking up and leaving. And it isn't necessarily all about the lawsuit. As Beluler has been pointing out, the decline of active players have been steadily going down since the peak of Legion. They are currently at numbers that we have not seen in World of Warcraft since Warlords of Draenor. Really bad. Warlords of Draenor has universally been considered the worst expansion Blizzard has ever put out for World of Warcraft. Wrath of the Lich King has been considered the best. There are a few areas where I deviate from the general common consensus among the expansions. I do not like Mists of Pandaria. I got really done with Mists of Pandaria pretty quickly. But I liked Cataclysm. Other people felt that Cataclysm wasn't that good because Wrath of the Lich King set the bar so high, and then here comes Cataclysm and couldn't quite make that, but they like Mists of Pandaria. So that's where we have to agree to disagree. But myself and the majority of the World of Warcraft community considered Warlords of Draenor to be the worst. For us to have the numbers now in Shadowlands equivalent to what they were in Warlords of Draenor is bad news. It's also bad news because we've said, and players have said, they cannot have two bad expansions in a row. It will be the death knell of the game, and when you have an okay expansion following a garbage expansion in Battle for Azeroth, and then you have all this news going on with Blizzard, not really a good combination at all for the company or the game. So let's catch up since we've last spoken about it. The torture apologist, Francis, I think her name is, that Blizzard hired, and I did a video on several months ago before all this was going down, she was the one who went out in front of people and said, oh, you know, this lawsuit is bullshit, this is all garbage, like, this really isn't happening this way, blah, 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 all this other gallivanting around that she did, saying it was all bullshit and misrepresentation. Well, for somebody who was a torture apologist under the George W. Bush administration, she got bullied off of Twitter. She had so many employees and just general public saying this isn't true, you are lying through your teeth, this is absolutely a serious thing, these things are happening, here's this experience, She got so busy blocking people, she couldn't take it anymore, and she just bailed. Just gone from Twitter. Goodbye. So I don't even think she set her profile to private. I think she full-on deleted the Twitter account, which is bad news bears, public relations-wise. Now you have all these content creators taking their ball and going home. I mean, let's face it, that's what they're doing. You have people outright saying they're not going to cover Blizzard anymore. You have Beluler doing videos on just how bad the sub count is. You have Asmongold, who, it's funny that he calls out the World of Warcraft community for being toxic as hell, when he is truly like one of the most toxic people I think could exist within the Blizzard content creator area. I saw maybe 10 minutes of his footage back in Mists of Pandaria when he talked about Big Dig TBS. You have to do Big Dig TBS. Stay and fire. It doesn't matter. You have to stab these things. Your healers will love you because they won't be bored. It was funny, and then I was done with the guy after that. He was kind of like the MTV jackass of World of Warcraft content. But he has a huge following, and people will follow him where he goes, and now he's even been doing 14 to the point in which he is like crashing 14 servers because he has his fan base following him where he goes. And the servers can't handle the load of his like PewDiePie level kind of fan base. Okay, yeah, maybe he's right about the World of Warcraft community being toxic and everything. That's, you know, sad to think about because I'm not toxic, but I find him to be very toxic. Anyway, he's not doing that much WoW content. Fucking Carbots. Carbots, who has gone to Blizzard, to Blizzard's BlizzCons at the behest of Blizzard, has now been doing videos on 14, and in one video, kind of maybe the lead into his 14 content, he is portraying boating away from World of Warcraft land, which is like on fire, literally just on fire and buildings falling apart, and boating on over to the Final Fantasy XIV side of the ocean, where everybody's happy and cat girls are, and cat bunny guys, and just all kinds of crazy shit. And I mean, this is a dude who has been paid by Blizzard to do Blizzard animation on YouTube. He has a StarCraft mod. Think about that. He has a StarCraft mod that changes all the units of the StarCraft games to Carbot's animated versions of them. That is when you know you are losing your people. But this article here goes on to say it's just, you know, Zepla, this streamer Zepla, is feeling nauseous and betrayed, and the old feeling like the old guard is gone, and for the Final Fantasy XIV director Yoshida basically downplays everything. He's just kind of like, no, we're not trying to do this, but wow, this is really, really sad. It's nice we have people, but like, no, we're not trying to fight with World of Warcraft over here. But he's winning. He's winning by not doing anything. The DFEH, they're facing double lawsuits now, because now the investors of Blizzard are suing Blizzard for saying, by covering this shit up, you hid things that affect the stocks and our money and our investment in the company, and we're not happy with this because you didn't tell us, so we couldn't make informed decisions. And now they're suing Blizzard. So they're facing 2 lawsuits now, which is really sad. Twitch streamer Quasi has begun experimenting with 14 streams and did their last WoW stream, last one for the road, and then deleted their characters. You can get them back. It's not that easy, but you can. Jesse Cox, who's extremely well known, you know, his early career was made from Blizzard and Warcraft videos and everything. And he's just saying, you know, Blizzard just shits on the content creators. They formed a union, ABK, Activision Blizzard King. King is the people who do like Candy Crush and stuff. And then they went ahead and got a union-busting group, this Wilmer Hale, to squash the rebellion. You know, the peasant rebellion that's occurring right outside the castle. It's like they sent the elite cavalry to go mow them down, and that's, again, bad PR. At this point, Blizzard needs to just kind of bend over and take it. They really need to be a turtle on their back with their legs up and just let it happen. Because we're going to talk about what they're doing now. That is another PR disaster for them. It's just really, really bad. So you have all these people just bailing on Blizzard. And we've seen it before. My girlfriend is a Destiny 2 player since the beginning, basically. And she has watched content creators pack it up and leave Destiny 2 when the well of content dries up and Bungie doesn't listen to the community. I mean, it was more when they were under Activision, believe it or not. Now that they've been separate, they've been better. But they're still not 100%. They still fuck up. They're just better. And she's watched, you know, if there's 20 content creators out there for Destiny 2, it'll dwindle to 10 because nobody's raiding. And PvP will suck or PvP will be broken. Well, now we're seeing it in World of Warcraft. It's happening over here. And now the second part of this is the DFEH is dealing with them, saying that they're shredding evidence. Well, shred the proof, as Ronald Reagan once said. That's not a good look. And think about this. If this is true, as I sip my ice water over here, if this is true, that they are shredding this evidence, which is a no, not good, because somebody will turn on Blizzard. Somebody will like record it. Somebody will leak it anonymously. Yeah, we are having these Tom Cruise, The Firm, John Grisham level, The Firm stuff happening over here. Midnight Shreds. Where somebody just casually closes the door to make it look like they're not doing anything, but really they're shredding. Somebody will turn essentially state's evidence on this. And it'll just look even worse for Blizzard. Because they're denying that it's happening. If you look down here at the bottom of this article, a follow-up email says, no, we're not shredding any vital evidence here. No, not true. If this is a leak, I would believe it. And I think somebody will absolutely sell them out. And this legacy, see here, this anonymous tester, see, this is the kind of stuff I'm talking about. This anonymous tester saying the legacy of Blizzard's all like, oh, you're working for Blizzard? Aren't you lucky? But the reality is that we are constantly dealing with difficult people in a culture that cares little for mental health and expects the same kind of smile all the time as retail does. The only way for this truly to change is to change the culture and the attitude of the people. I feel this because I don't live too far away from Epic. And when I knew that Epic was in the area and how much Unreal Tournament and 2K3 and Unreal the game and UT2K4 were part of my young adulthood, and I was a competitive UTer. I played on ladders. I did a ton of UT administration for sites like Proving Grounds and Team Warfare and IGL. I even competed at like OGL and Cal at times. It was, as much as like Blizzard products had been part of my later adulthood, Epic products were part of my youthful adulthood. And the chance to work at Epic and like meet Cliffy B and everything like that was just would have been like an absolute dream come true. And when I happened to get out of a job in 2012, when they killed off 2 divisions that were there, and I was part of one of them, one of the first places I had a chance of landing was Epic. I was like, oh god, yes, get my resume there, get it there, like, yay, like, please, hi, yes, I would like to work at Epic, I will work there. But I found out Epic had really changed. When Tencent started to get a stake in there, the culture shifted badly. Cliffy B packed up his Lambo and left, and he formed Boss Key Productions. And he wasn't at Epic anymore. And when he left, a lot of the soul of Epic went away. And I ran into somebody at a job who said that they had done a stint at Epic and they worked through the changes. And it just became a very unfun place. And it sounds like what happened there is what we're seeing with Blizzard. It's just it was a smaller scale at the time. Like at Epic, there was like a slide that you could take from the 2nd floor down to the 1st floor. The Gears of War statue was in there. They had a library of games. You could just take out a game and bring it home and play it for a couple nights or a week or something. Yeah, that's not what it's like over there anymore. And this was like back in 2015, 2014 that I was hearing this. So I feel these people and what they're saying in Blizzard. I've heard it directly, and it shattered my dream of maybe ever wanting to get a job over at Epic. I don't think I would do it now. The commute's a little much, and it wouldn't be worth the commute now. Speaking of Cliffy B, like a completely notice me senpai moment happened for me this week when Cliffy B posted how much he liked Axiom Verge 2. And I replied, and I talked about it, and Cliffy B replied to me, and I praised the developer of Axiom Verge 1 and 2, Thomas Happ, who then liked my tweets. I was like, holy shit, this is like tweet inception over here. Like, I got Cliffy B to respond to me, and then in us praising the guy who does Axiom Verge 1 and 2, and I think that's just, absolutely amazing. That one guy is doing all this, he likes my tweets. I'm like, I've been noticed. It's probably how a lot of Marvel Avengers Alliance Redux people feel about Goofy and the fact that he's, rebirthing the game from scratch in so many ways. At least in terms of the code. Obviously, other people are taking on other duties, but so I think I will just wrap up this video by saying, or having a discussion on, like, what will happen to me if World of Warcraft starts to get really, really bad. Considering it has been a part of my life since 2004, and being a guild master, I've watched relationships start, I've watched relationships end, I've watched people go from acquaintances to marriage. My girlfriend and I have 2 friends here that we were invited to their wedding, and they met because of my guild. And I, in a lot of ways, helped them become friends, and now they're married. So that's kind of really cool. And I've, unfortunately, I've seen death in the guild. I know of 2 people who've passed away. I believe that I even know of a 3rd that I don't hear from anymore. This poor guy had a whole bunch of mini strokes that were slowly but surely eating away at one side of his body, and his coordination and his ability and desire to play World of Warcraft was slowly diminishing. And he just couldn't do it anymore, and he couldn't really do the long sessions. And we're having a discussion one day, and I recommended the Nostromo. Not the alien ship, but the gamepad. You might know them now as like the Logitech G13 or the Razer Tartarus. And he's like, well, I've never heard of one of these things. I'm like, well, they're like small keyboards, and they have a little joystick on them, and kind of like mouse buttons. Try them out. They might be handy. And so I didn't see him for a few days, and then he comes back. And he's like, oh my god, Napalm, you're on. I'm so happy. I'm in tears right now. I was like, oh shit, what happened to this guy? He's like, my girlfriend went out and got that thing you recommended to me, and this is the best thing that I've ever seen. Like, I can play WoW again. This thing is so great. It fits my hands and it lets me play again, and it doesn't hurt, and I can rest my hand on this so much easier, and I don't get the shakes on this, the shudders that I get on that side of the body. You're giving me World of Warcraft back. You're making me feel so good about this game, and I'm in tears that you recommended this to me and that my girlfriend got it from me, and I'm so happy. And I couldn't believe I drove a grown man to happy tears simply because I just made a recommendation of a piece of hardware. And for a moment, I just kind of felt like I earned my badge, like my little Boy Scout badge of like, hey, I did the good thing today. I don't hear from him anymore. I think maybe, unfortunately, he just had too many strokes there at the end, and they continued and took away his physical capabilities or his life. So 2, potentially 3 dead guild members, marriages, childbirth. My cat, Arthas, who passed away, came from a friendship within the guild, and Blizzard means a lot. World of Warcraft means a lot. And I don't want it to come down to the point where I have to make the decision of whether or not I want to stay out of WoW. I would just rather WoW die. And it might actually happen. Who knows if there will be a World of Warcraft 2. I don't know where my feet would land in terms of any other MMO out there. 14 interests a lot of my guild. Doesn't really interest me. Would I go back and play Rift? Would I go back and play Terra? Or maybe just not play any MMO and regain so many of the hours of every given day by not being stuck with an MMO or even an organized MMO and raiding and schedules and shit like that. 2015, 2014, when we stopped with World of Warcraft because of the terrible expansion, I got to stream Marvel Avengers Alliance every day, and that was an amazing experience. I really loved that period of Marvel Avengers Alliance and streaming every day and not raiding, and so I don't know. I would honestly rather World of Warcraft just wrap up so that I don't have the cognitive dissonance going on of one side of my body saying, you really like this game, you like your character, you know how much time you've spent on that fat bear and what he means to you and what the guild means, what the game means. You should stay until the end. And then there's the part of me that, like, everybody's leaving and nobody wants to be here anymore, and am I representing a terrible company that's doing these awful things to people by continuing to play the game where most of the bad people were? And, like, you didn't really hear about bad Overwatch devs or Diablo devs, really, or Heroes of the Storm. It was mostly the World of Warcraft team. So, yeah. It's really sad watching this game go down the toilet at a 90-mile-an-hour spin. And they're doing all these quality of life things like, oh, we'll do this and we do that, and here's these new skins and customizations and these new forms for the Night Fae soul shapes. And everybody's like, okay, that's cool, but are you saying you could have done these all along? You're waiting until the desperate I can change part of the relationship over here? Like, I could stop drinking, don't leave me. Like, just, why didn't you do that stuff earlier? You just reeks of desperation now, so who knows? On to some more happy notes. The future videos that I'll be doing over the next week or so, Marvel Future Revolution, is now fully global, so we'll talk about that. We have a new Marvel game that's got some trailer footage out there. We can talk about that. And also, I want to do what I call the Marvel Challenge series. I've read 2 hot takes recently, and they're actually related to What If. The first 2 of the 3 episodes of What If, I've seen some really spicy takes on them, and I want to do videos challenging the content that I've seen from these 2 very different people concerning the first What If with Sharon Carter and the second What If with T'Challa Star-Lord. And I also want to do a video talking about Black Panther's DLC for Marvel Avengers and kind of give my final summation on that. So, hope you guys like the little VTube guide down in the lower right. Quite proud of the girlfriend for making it. And hope you're enjoying the new intro. And this video, again, discussing what's been going on with Blizzard. Are you playing any Blizzard games? And if so, how have you been feeling about them lately? I'm interested in hearing. Take care, everybody.